So we're back here at the house, and I was going to show you some of the stuff I've done to the pickup truck, mostly because of camping and pulling the camper. Think about the first thing I did to this truck was put this ARE camper shell on here. I put the camper shell on for one specific purpose, really. It's also the reason why we didn't end up going with the fifth wheel. Because usually when we traveled in the past, you know, we've been in a car, we would stay in hotels and stuff, and the bikes would be on the back of the car. Well, you know, when you're unloading to get in your hotel room, especially when it's just for one night, those bikes are kind of a pain, you know, because you got to haul your luggage up, and then you got to come back down and get the bikes. Because we do not leave our bikes out. They're too expensive just to be leaving out. That was the purpose of this camper shell. So when we travel, the bikes will be secured in here, so I can lock the camper shell. I can also secure the bikes, which I do using, I've got some U-locks, and I just lock them to these tie downs right here. Technically, somebody could get the bikes. I mean, it's just like anything. If somebody wants it bad enough, they're gonna get it. But I'm gonna make it as hard for them as I possibly can. I mean, they're gonna have to work for it. So that was the deal with the camper shell, is mostly to secure the bikes. When we go camping and stuff like that, the bikes are secured. We don't have to worry about them getting wet out in the weather or nothing like that. We don't have to pull them out after we go for a bike ride. We can leave them in the truck, so it works out really well. So that's the reason for the camper shell. Well, you know what? Before I got the camper shell put in, we put this BEDRUG in, and that was a good buy. That was a good upgrade there. There was no liner when I bought this truck. So I bought the BEDRUG, and me and my son installed it. And it was pretty easy to install. I think we had it done like within, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes or so. So that's the first thing I think really I did to this truck, was the BEDRUG. That really didn't have nothing to do with camping, but I wanted a liner in here. Then the camper shell came next. And after that, I put these tie downs in, all 4 of them, because Ford didn't give me any. Then I swapped out the clamps for the camper clamps, because the ones that the place where I bought this camper shell from, they gave me some old aluminum ones, and they were like, I don't know, it looked like they pulled them out of a junkyard. So I put the clamps on. Next thing I did was made this bed slide. This has been beneficial. I just watched some YouTube videos on other people that had made these, because I went out and priced the ones you can buy, and they're really expensive. So I went and seen how other people were building these things, making these things. And so I said, well, I can do that. I'm not even a carpenter or nothing. So yeah, it was pretty simple. I put me a little pin here, just to kind of keep it from kind of bouncing back and forth when I'm driving. And I mean, it rolls pretty easy. You can do it with one hand. So what I did here is I got a mount here and a mount there for 2 bikes. Then put mounts here and there, so I can get 4 bicycles in here. Makes it really easy to get the bikes in and out. I put these little pieces in here just to hold the rear wheels, and then these are here to hold keep the rear wheels of those bikes from jumping around. But anyways, let's get back to this. I'm getting sidetracked. It's just plywood. I cut it to fit my bed width, painted it black, put some 1x1 back here in the back to keep things from falling off, which that did happen. That was an afterthought there. As far as the rollers, all those are just conveyor belt ball bearings. I think it's what are bearings, conveyor belt bearings. And you can pick those up at, I think I got all these mostly at Harbor Freight, but Amazon has them as well. But just 2 pieces of plywood, this top piece and then the bottom piece. Then some 1x2s and some 1x3s. And this is on here just to keep that back end from flipping up. I watched some videos, they didn't even put this on. If you don't put that on, you're not going to be able to pull it out this far. I mean, I can pull it out even further. I can go out to right about there with it, as long as I ain't got too much weight down here on this end. But yeah, this has been pretty nice having. It's really nice even when you ain't got bikes and you're wanting to load stuff, like, so when I load it to go camping, I'm able to put stuff way back up in there, and I don't have to crawl in there to get it, to put it in or to get it out. I can just pull a slide in and out. So it works really good. And like I said, it's really easy to make. If I can do this, anybody can do this. And so after that, as far as back here, I ended up putting me some lights in. So I'd have some lights back here at night. Just wired them straight to my battery, my truck battery. I got the switch just off of Amazon. Got these lights from O'Reilly's, and they're just up by Velcro. That's how they're staying up. I mean, every now and then one will fall. I'll have to get up in there. That in there looks kind of like it wants to fall right now. Yeah, so they'll kind of fall every now and then, but for the most part they stay up there. And then just got a little rocker switch, turn it off and on. But yeah, that's pretty much what we got back here. And I keep my bike pump, my bike tools, all right there. We're able to throw our camelbacks back here, our helmets, all of our bike gear, just leave it back here. It's pretty nice. All right, so in here, I think the first thing I did was add this mount, and it's made by a Tough Mount. I know Bulletpoint also makes a mount here like this too. So that was one of the first things I did, was add that mount. So the next thing I did after I got that mount was I added the phone mount, and that actually uses a Ram mount. This is made by Ram, not Ram the truck, but Ram mounts. The little extension arm there, that's a Ram mount. So I added that, and I also added this mount. That's where I keep my TPMS. It's got a little Velcro thing on here, and then there's a piece of Velcro on the back of my phone that I use for my TPMS. It sits right there, but this is a bulletproof mount. I was using my backup monitor here. It was over there, but it was on this mount. But that backup monitor is too heavy for this long arm, so I bought that mount for the backup monitor, a smaller arm, I should say. That's a bulletproof. And I put the phone on here because it's lighter weight. And then I added this Ram mount. That's where I put my GoPro. So usually how I have it is my TPMS sits here, my phone here, backup monitor here, and then my GoPro there. And I also went in here and I added a 12-volt connection here and 2 USB connections right here, because before I did that, we had wires just running all over the place in here, and I hated it. I mean, there was just wires. The wife has got phone charging and tablet charging, and I've got all of this mess going, and it was too much. So I wanted the wires hidden. I wanted them out of the way. So that's why I put those 2 USB and that 12 volt. 12 volt, I plugged my backup monitor into the USB. I plugged my TPMS phone into it. I just drilled a hole in the tray up there and ran the cord through the dashboard, and it plugs in here, down in here by Smokey, right there, because I need it for navigation. But I did all that, which has been a good upgrade. I really like my setup here. The next thing, which I've really liked, so this is the Wolfbox, which I've seen a lot of videos on it. And as you can see, it has the backup monitor or the backup camera on it. Date and time, it does voice commands. It has the GPS on it, tells you how fast you're going, what direction you're going. But yeah, it's a rear view camera, or rear camera, and a forward camera, which you can't really, there we go. So you can kind of see the trees and stuff in there. But so it's a forward camera and it's a dash camera. I mean, it's recording both cameras at the same time. And it's pretty nice. You can do both views, the forward and the rear, or the forward. Now this one, some of them you buy don't have the GPS on them. I mounted my little GPS sensor right there, that black box. But yeah, I've been pretty happy with this. And if you don't want to use it, and even if you want to use it just for recording and you don't want to use it to see, you know, what's behind you, you can make it go to sleep, and it still has a reflective enough. See if I can get that on there for y'all. I don't know, it's hard for me to see because through the camera, but maybe y'all can see. But you can still kind of see, use it as a regular rear view mirror and see behind you. It's kind of like having your rear view mirror, you know how you tilt it at night so lights don't blind you. Well, it's kind of like that. And I mean, it's asleep, the monitor's off, but it is still recording right now. So if I hit it again, it comes right back up. So yeah, kind of like it. You just, if you want to turn it off, just hold it down and it turns off, or turn the ignition off. But I think that is pretty much all of the stuff I've done to the truck as far as for camping and stuff. When I was talking about, you know, the front cap lights and how it was on a wireless switch, and that I had a fob in the camper and one in the truck. Well, that's where I keep my truck fob, right there. So I can turn our front cap lights on the camper on and off from right there. Well guys, that'll do it for this one. Thanks for joining me today on this little, I don't know what you'd call it, show and tell, I guess. Hope to see you on the next one. And as always, thank you for watching.